Hey, guys. Good to see you. Not this second because I'm recording. But you know what I mean. I'm not long finished the live. It's a 9:06. I think I was with you guys about just before 8 o'clock. But I thought, yeah, seeing on my video side, I haven't done one for 10 days. So I thought, do a quick video while I'm still up, then go and get some sleep afterwards. Put it out as a premiere. So I decided, no, I was looking through my watch list, didn't know what to do. Came across two videos about Henry VIII, how his dying was torture, and another guy who was boiled to death. So I'm going to react on them. It's like, I think they're both about 14 minutes each. So I've downloaded both of them. Just go react on both of them. See what comes of it. So it might be a longer video. It'll probably be a video about an hour long, so I won't be able to edit it or anything. So it'll go out raw. Raw's all right, you know. And raw's all right. So let's do it. I'll get this video. Which one want to do first? Boiling or Henry? Let's do the boiling. One. Right, let's do it. Let's do the boiling one. Let's get us down here. And do it. Okay. Let's put the sound down a little bit. Right, so obviously I think the guy's using AI generated images. That's all good. But we'll just listen to what he's got to say and react. I'll see what I've got. I'm looking over there to see if she's there. I'm so used to being on the live. I'm looking to the right screen. The right screen's just got YouTube on it, but I'm used to seeing you guys on YouTube or Rumble, so it's, it's cool. I do this every video. But it looks good. It looks good anyway. So we'll just react on it and see what it's got to say. Might not have much to say. She'll have something to say. I just thought, because I haven't done a video in a little while, it said 10 days and stuff like that. Let's get one out of that. So let's carry on. Let's do it.
1531. The sky dawned grey over London, as if nature itself sensed the horror about to unfold. A crowd gathered.
I wonder if they had chemtrails back then. Hot air balloons going up in the sky and leaving slow chemtrails. That's probably why the sky is darkened. You know what I mean? Nothing's changed. Nothing new under the sun, eh?
Gathered at Smithfield, the customary site for executions and cattle fairs. Today, however, something different awaited them. In the center of the square,
it's the gibbet for hanging people.
An enormous bronze cauldron rested atop a freshly lit fire. The flames crackled as the water began to heat. A murmur rippled through the crowd when guards brought forth a bound man. His name was Richard Bruce, a cook in the service of Bishop John Fisher.
Size of that pot. Did they make that to boil men, or did they make it to boil 10 cows at a time? Size of it, man.
His pale face revealed the terror he felt, contemplating the instrument of his death. In moments, he would face an execution, as rare as it was brutal. He would be boiled.
Imagine it, though. I wonder if they slowly boil it or if they chuck him in it while it's boiling. Either way, I mean, slowly you're not going to, well, you're going to feel it, obviously. But you're just going to think, oh, I'm getting a little bit warmer. This is fine. And it's slowly you're boiling to death, like the frog. Like the frog doesn't even know. I wonder if it's like that.
Boiled alive, feeling every inch of his skin slowly dissolve in boiling water. How did a simple cook end up condemned to such a terrible fate?
That does sound gruesome, man. Getting boiled alive and actually being alive and feeling your skin coming off. Oh, coming off your bones. Oh, man. I think you die of pain. First. Awful, bro. Awful. Ancestors. Not just bro, sisters.
To understand this macabre story, we must turn back the clock several weeks.
Go on.
February 1531. England was experiencing one of the most turbulent periods in its history. King Henry VIII was determined to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, to wed
And he certainly did. And he certainly did.
Anne Boleyn. This decision divided the kingdom. On one side stood ambitious courtiers who supported the king's desire. On the other, conservative clerics who considered marriage sacred and indissoluble. Among the latter was John Fisher.
Indissoluble. Never heard the word before, but I can see what it means. Like, you can't break it apart, you know what I mean? It can't be split up, sort of thing. I mean, not directly meaning that, but in this context, yeah.
Fisher, Bishop of Rochester, one of the staunchest opponents of the royal divorce.
Staunch.
Fisher, a man of deep religious convictions, had earned the
He's talking about Fisher, a man of deep religious convictions, and shows us a woman. What the heck?
the enmity, not only of Henry VIII, but
Or
also
is that funny, boys?
of the Boleyn family, who saw him as an obstacle to their ambitions. The bishop lived in constant apprehension. He slept in different chambers each night and took extraordinary precautions with his food and drink, fearing an attempt on his life.
Oh, with his food and drink. Okay.
His paranoia, as we shall see, was not unjustified. At the episcopal residence in Lambeth, south of London,
The
Bishop
Episcopal,
Fisher
eh?
maintained a staff of servants, including Richard
what they
Rose,
do.
his cook. Rose was not particularly remarkable, distinguishing features that set him apart from the mass of servants.
Something was blanked out there, I think. They like using these AI things. I mean, we used to do these as live streams as well. Some of them are all right. Some of them got a bit of a creepy agenda.
Servants who kept the great houses functioning. Discreet and efficient, he had never given reason for suspicion until that fateful February 8th.
And look at that. A big crowd there just to sit and watch him boiling to death. That's awful, isn't it? Can you imagine? You're feeling this muscle, flesh, fat, whatever, sinew, like just detaching from your bones and sliding off through. Oh man, I've been scolded before. Was when my first kid, my daughter, Laura Lee, up in Scotland, when she was born. She was born premature, 6 weeks premature. No, sorry, that was my son's premature. She was born 2 weeks late. Sorry, I'm getting the stories mixed up. 2 weeks late. So she was massive. She was nearly 9 pounds, Laura Lee. Aye. Well, when we got home and that, she woke up in the middle of the night to want her feed, obviously. Well, me being tired and wanting to get it quick, I got our bottle that I'd already made up. Instead of heat it in the bottle here, I quickly did it in the kettle. I kept the kettle boiling and had it in the kettle. Just kept my finger on the kettle button and it was boiling in the kettle. Then I got it to the right temperature. The bottle, I felt it was all good through the top. But as I was pulling the bottle back out and taking it out, I clipped the top of the kettle. And it fell over and went right up my arm. I got cold water straight on it quick, but it was scalding so much. I would say it was the water was no longer. It was about 4 seconds at the most the water was there. And I got cold water on it and it stung for days. I went to hospital to put this certain cream on it and the gauze and all that. It was so bad. And that was just my forearm for about 4 seconds. It was awful. No scars or anything, but I had a big bubble. But then it went down and everything was perfect. But I couldn't imagine. I know how sore that was. So wow, being boiled alive, every inch of your body. Crazy stuff. So sore.
18th. That afternoon, Fisher hosted a meal for guests. The menu included a thick soup, common in the English diet of the time. Ruse prepared the broth as usual, but secretly added a powder to the food.
Sounds like what I'm from.
Later, he would claim he did it as a jest, believing it to be merely a purgative.
And the broth, we love broth. We do.
That would cause intestinal discomfort. A cruel prank, but not lethal, according to his version of events. The bishop, however, ate little of the soup, not from suspicion, but perhaps from lack of appetite. Other guests consumed larger portions.
Probably suspicion. If people were doing it, it's probably suspicion, not lack of
At
appetite.
the end of the meal, the leftover food was distributed, as was customary, to beggars who had come seeking alms. Among them were Bennett Kerwin and Alice Trippitt,
Okay.
two humble people who could scarcely believe their luck at receiving hot food from a bishop's kitchen. Hours later, the horror began. Excruciating abdominal pains struck all who had consumed the soup.
Ooh,
Vomiting, cold sweat,
everybody was poisoned. Everybody poisoned.
convulsions. Fisher survived, having ingested little of the poison. Others fell gravely ill. Bennett and Alice, however, who had eagerly devoured their portions, were not so fortunate. Their bodies were found the next day, contorted in agony. News of the poisoning spread rapidly.
Well, poison tends to do stuff like that to you. Not good. Not a good thing to happen, man. It's ingested. So you can't get it out. Once it's in, what you're meant to do, unless you've got something in that, unless you've got another kind of drug that can counteract it. But if you haven't and it's in there, it's in your bloodstream and everything, what the hell you got to do? Nothing. Nothing, that is nothing. The wee man. Okay, I'll have a look at that.
Henry VIII himself, upon learning of the incident, was furious.
But so,
Although Fisher was his political adversary, an attack of such nature threatened the very institution of monarchy. If bishops could be
no doubt.
poisoned, who would guarantee the safety of the king himself? The monarch ordered an immediate investigation. Richard Rose was quickly captured while
Ricky
attempting to flee
Rose,
London.
eh?
Taken to the Tower of London, he was subjected to the rack, a method of torture in which the
Rack?
prisoner was tied to an X-shaped structure, his limbs stretched almost to breaking point.
Ooh, come on. Who thinks these things up? Sadistic minds, man.
Under excruciating pain, Rose
Well, it would
confessed
be.
to adding the powder to the soup, but insisted he was unaware of its lethal power, believing it to be merely a purgative intended to cause temporary.
We've got Pucus Maximus. And Krampus McDampus. Mortis McFortis.
Discomfort. Surprisingly, the case did not follow
Puking all
normal
over the
legal
place.
procedures.
Vomitus.
On February 28th, Henry VIII personally appeared before Parliament to report the crime, something extraordinary for the era. The king described the poisoning as an act
They
of
don't
high
look too
treason,
well, do they?
not just against Bishop Fisher, but against the crown itself. Parliament, always eager to please the temperamental monarch, quickly approved the Act for Poisoning, 22 Henry VIII, Chapter 9.
Approved it. Approved it. Meaning to say it's all right. What on earth?
Which classified poisoning as high treason and established a specific punishment for such a crime.
Oh,
Death.
all right. Sorry. I'm thinking opposites there. Right. Sorry. My bad. Disregard my last remark.
By boiling. This fact deserves special attention. Henry VIII not only determined Rose's guilt without a proper trial, but also retroactively created a law to punish him in exemplary fashion.
We know about retroactively with the Mandela effect because it is retroactive.
The penalty for treason
It's happening now. It's in the past, but we recognize the changes now, and it's got to be happening retroactively.
was already terrible. The condemned was dragged by horses, hanged until nearly dead, castrated.
That's a common one. Drawn by horses. It's a common one. Castrated. I mean, why? That's so sadistic. Why would you even think of that? Oh man, it makes my knees cross together like I want to protect the jewels. Oh, come on. Why do these things?
And quartered alive. But the king wanted something more.
More
something
than
that would
balls.
equate to the horror of poisoning. A slow death in which the criminal would experience progressive heat, feeling his body cook slowly. Why such cruelty?
What? After they cut his balls off? Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Why the king's personal involvement in a case that, although serious, involved only a cook and a bishop who
Serious.
wasn't even his ally? The motives were never fully clarified. Some historians suggest that Henry VIII had a genuine
Historian.
phobia of poisoning,
Sounds like a
considering it the
woman's
most
name.
cowardly of deaths, unworthy even
Victorian.
for his enemies.
That's
Others,
Victorian.
more
All right, guys,
skeptical, see more complex political motivations. The imperial ambassador Eustace Chapuis, a confidant of Fisher and staunch defender of Queen Catherine, suggested in correspondence that
Wow, look at this man sticking them on a wheel. Tell you what, it must have been imaginative. Or unless they have the watchers sitting whispering in their bloody ears. You know what I mean? Crazy stuff.
the king acted with such vehemence to divert
Vehemence.
suspicions from himself, as he is too noble to resort to such means, or at least from the lady, Anne Boleyn,
Nasty
and her
stuff.
father. This theory is not without foundation. Rumors circulated quickly after the poisoning, accusing the Boleyn family of having hired Rose to eliminate Fisher, one of the greatest obstacles to Henry's marriage plans. The cook's swift and spectacular execution could serve to end any deeper investigation that might potentially implicate figures close to the king.
I mean, if this is AI, I bet this means nothing. Like when I do AI thumbnails and font appears in the background, just say because I type something. I don't even want it to have font in the middle of the picture or whatever. But yeah, I mean, even when I did, I tried to get it to do the Hollywood sign. Wow. I've just one or two got it okay, but the rest was like, holy what? I mean, loads of O's. Then I know missing. Holy what? Things like that. Just couldn't get it right. It's crazy stuff.
Whatever the truth, Richard Rose's fate was sealed. His execution was set for April 5th. Such an unusual
April
event drew
5th,
crowds to Smithfield. People
4 days
pushed to
after
get a
April
good
Fools.
viewing angle. Street vendors circulated offering food and drink, as if this were a theatrical spectacle and not the atrocious
Well, for them it is. They sat and watched it. Like bloody gladiators and stuff back in the Colosseum. It was a show for them, people getting killed in that, and people killing each other and fighting. It was a show for them. They took bets on it, for goodness sake. Definitely a show. Entertainment for them.
end of a human being. The great bronze cauldron was already bubbling when Rose was brought forth. Some accounts suggest he was partially sedated with alcohol, a final act of mercy for
Well, it
one
must
who
be
would
strong
receive no
alcohol.
other. The guards stripped him and lifted him above the cauldron. A prayer was quickly recited by a priest, offering absolution for his sins, but no relief for
Priest can't do it. Priest can't do it. He might as well just spoke to him about how it's going to be boiling. You know what I mean? Because a priest cannot absolve your sins. Only Jesus, only God forgives sins. Only. No one else. Yes, we forgive each other of our sins down here, but of our sins against ourselves, God is the only one that forgives them. We can't forgive them. I've just got a video I found. I don't know if it's any good. It's about 9 minutes long. I have to have a look at it, and it's the topic's kind of. Well, let me think. Why God can't and won't forgive the devil, Satan, and the fallen angels. Why he won't and can't. Interesting. I'll have to have a look at it. Well, either could do it in a little stream or a video. I don't know. Probably better on a stream. It's only 9 minutes long. But yeah, we'll have to have a go at that. It's interesting.
his body. What followed was one of the most horrifying executions recorded in English history. 3 times Rose was immersed in the boiling water. On
Wow.
the first dip, Only his
Or
legs were
dips to
submerged.
start off with.
His screams echoed across the square.
So they don't even just do it in one arm, man. Wow, they really draw it out, stretch it out, extend it for the show. Wow, dip him in, bang, 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 get him out, dip him in. Oh my goodness, that's awful.
As the skin of his lower limbs separated from the flesh. Some people in the
Not
crowd
good.
fainted. Others turned away,
Fainted?
unable to bear the sight.
Fainted? Wow. I'm surprised not a lot more. Nasty stuff.
On the second dip, his torso was submerged to the chest.
Oh,
The water, previously clear, acquired a pinkish hue as it dissolved his flesh.
oh
His
man.
screams were no longer human. They became indistinct gurgles as he struggled for air.
Oh, yeah, water going down his throat. It's just like everything dissolving. Oh, it just sounds awful, man. It sounds terrible. I had to do this, you know what I mean? I know I'd wince. I knew I'd win, sorry. But I thought it was interesting. I haven't done anything like this type of video before, reacted to this. It's scriptural, not usually, obviously, isn't it? Or flat air stuff, but this, and I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. It seems interesting, but listening to it now, my legs are crossing and everything. Oh wow, make me have shivers down my back. Someone's walking over my grave.
On the third and final dip, Richard Roos was completely immersed in the boiling water.
Oh my goodness.
Death, though
Ugh.
horrible, finally freed him from his torment. Rose's execution was not an isolated case. Thanks to the new law, those convicted of poisoning would face the same fate. In
Not
1542, a woman named Margaret Davies was boiled alive at Smithfield for allegedly
good. Women
poisoning
as well.
3 households where she worked.
Wow, women as well. I mean, I've heard of people getting boiled, but I didn't know it was that they did it a lot. So I didn't really know about this. I knew the boil people, but I didn't know about the story in particular. And I didn't think it was a big thing, but it's obviously bigger than what I thought. Wow.
This method of
Sorry, I said wow quite a lot. Because it's so, yeah, oh.
execution was only officially abolished during the reign of Edward VI, Henry
Eddie the
VIII's
Sixth,
son,
eh?
as part of reforms aimed at limiting the most barbaric punishments. What makes Richard Roos's case particularly disturbing is not just the brutality of his punishment,
Well,
but the political circumstances.
couldn't get the eye to make him look like he was in pain. I mean, it's up to his blooming knees at the minute. And he said, oh, yeah, that's not too bad. The horse boiling away. He's yeah, dip my toes in that. No, he'd be screaming, come on, AI.
Surrounding it. He was a victim of a volatile historical moment when England stood on the
Excuse me.
threshold of monumental religious
Oh, there
and
it is.
political
There it is.
changes.
My bad.
John-
My bad. There you go. There you go. Now he is in pain. Absolutely. Absolutely. Not that I want to rejoice in his pain. Because he's just an AI. I just thought with that other one, he should have looked like he was in pain. But now, fair enough. Fair enough. My bad. I concede.
John Fisher, the man Rose allegedly attempted to kill, would not escape his own tragic fate.
Oh, no.
4 years
Obviously
after
not.
the incident, in 1535, Fisher was executed for refusing to recognize Henry VIII as supreme head of the Church of England. His head was
Well,
displayed on London Bridge
him.
until it became unrecognizable, then replaced by that of Thomas More.
I mean, people do that now. Didn't renounce the king. Nothing happens to them, obviously, because why not? Why should we be under them? Why should they be in authority over us? I don't want them. Not that I've got anything against them. I just don't want them.
Another opponent who suffered the same fate. Anne Boleyn, whose rise
Anne
to the
Boleyn.
throne was indirectly related to the Roos case, would not enjoy a happy ending either. In 1536,
It's mad
just
they
5
did
years
women as
after
well.
these events, she herself would be executed on charges of adultery, incest, and treason.
No.
All widely-
Adultery, incest, and treason. And treason could be anything. That was like one of the worst bit. You could do a little crime to be treason, like I don't know. I mean, look what guy. I mean, this is a bigger one, but treason definitely. Guy Fawkes is the biggest one I know for treason. You know what I mean? Gunpowder. Try to blow up the blooming hell Houses of Parliament. It wouldn't come out. Yeah. So wow. But boiling him alive for them charges. Maybe life in prison, but to die like that. I mean, they're going to die if they have to execute them. I mean, why not just do that? Like, just like that. They want them so much to suffer badly. People rejoice in that and are happy over that. Now, even if it's the worst criminal ever, people should not rejoice over something like that. And I bet they were.
Considered fabrications to allow Henry to marry his third wife, Jane Seymour. As for
Wow.
Henry VIII himself, he would continue his turbulent reign for another 16 years, marrying 4 more women, breaking
It's funny you mentions that, King, because that's the next video.
definitively with Rome and transforming England into a Protestant country. His paranoia and brutality
Oh, my
would
butt's
only
so sore.
increase with age, leaving
Not
a
so
trail of
uncomfortable.
blood that would forever mark English history. Today, the site where Richard Roos met his terrible end is a busy commercial center, with no plaque or monument to remember.
Sure it is. They'll make money off anything. Off a man who got boiled to death. Right, yeah. He got boiled to death for us. Yeah, gives a penny. Or gives 100. Or gives 1,000. Or just gives it all. Nuts, man.
Remember the horrors committed there. Few Londoners passing daily through Smithfield know that beneath their feet, centuries ago, a man was slowly boiled alive in a
Yep.
bronze cauldron. The story of Richard Roos offers us a disturbing glimpse into the past. It reminds us of a time when
Richard Roos. Could this story be a ruse? Joking.
justice and cruelty went hand in hand, when the powerful could literally rewrite laws to satisfy their whims, and when the value of human life was determined by the political utility of one's death. It is impossible to determine today whether Roos was truly guilty, whether he was a scapegoat to cover up a larger conspiracy, or whether he simply made a tragic mistake by adding unknown substances to his master's food. What we know with certainty is that his punishment exceeded any sense of justice, even by the brutal standards of his time.
Wow, just come across a YouTube channel called Nocturnus. One of the videos got recommended to me. I wasn't subbed. I'm not subbed now. One of the videos got recommended to me, and it was well, it wasn't that one. It wasn't Why I'm Not a Christian. It was a guide for men. No, sorry. Which one was it? It was either Why I'm Against Christianity and a guide for men to connect with Lilith. I mean, he's got some mad ideas. I'll show you anyway after this finishes. Sorry.
Execution by boiling, a death that recreates the very act of cooking, Roos's profession,
Wow.
carries a macabre irony that cannot be ignored. The man whose life was dedicated to preparing food in cauldrons ended his days as an ingredient in one. It is a punishment that suggests not just the elimination of the criminal, but a terrible poetic vengeance that aimed to satisfy the sense of retributive justice of a more brutal era.
Coventry, where I'm at.
5 centuries have passed since that April afternoon in Smithfield. The world has changed in ways that Henry VIII and his contemporaries could hardly imagine. Our justice systems, though imperfect, now seek rehabilitation more than retribution. Our laws are, supposedly, applied equally to the powerful and the common. Our punishments, even for the most heinous crimes, do not include deliberate torture.
No.
Nevertheless, the story of Richard...
Well, it shouldn't. It shouldn't, because even the law nowadays is based on the Ten Commandments. And if you believe in the Ten Commandments, then you've got to believe in the rest. And then Jesus comes along, and he tells us in Matthew 5 to 8, Sermon on the Mount, how to be. It's simple. It's simple. Hard to do, but simple to find out about.
Ruse, the man who was boiled alive, continues to fascinate us
Nice.
precisely because it shows us how thin the line is that separates civilization from barbarism, and how institutions that should protect citizens can easily become instruments of terror when manipulated by those in power. Under the hurried feet of modern Londoners, the echoes of the past still resonate, and if we listen carefully, perhaps we can still hear the screams of a cook who, on a gray April day in 1531, discovered
that nice orange sun, and ours is white now. But look at this. Look at the reflection. Nice, long, straight, level reflection. If it was a curve on that water, that reflection would be bunched up to the apex of the curve.
in the most terrible way what it means to be on the other side of the cauldron.
Nice.
April
5th. Oh,
15th.
That's it. It just started again. Okay, cool. Right, so that's that one. Wow, it was making me cross my legs, man. Making me cross my legs, but as though like I was getting it done to me. Especially when they started talking about bloody castration. Not good. Look at the sunshine in my face. Wow, wrong way. Wow, why is it this side? Crazy. Sunshine in my face and it's pure like white. Making me reflect it. I'm a good reflector. Nice. Right. I want to just quickly show you this. I know I'm not live, but you'll see it on the video. This is the channel. It just got recommended to me, so I went and had a look. I thought, yeah, I'm going to take one of them videos and have a go sometime. Review it. Why does it need Christianity? Well, don't know about that. Yeah. So there we go. That's the channel, Nocturnus. And it's got Why I'm Against Christianity, Gates of Aries, Secret Wisdom of the Vatican. Worth looking at. Gates of Aries again, Atlantis. Gates of Aries, Rob AI, Kali Desert. Gates of Pisces recap, a guide from it. A guide from men to connect with Lilith. No, thank you. I do not want to connect with Lilith. See all this stuff, man. High priest not to be described. Occult services. It said somewhere, right, why we need the occult. Necromancy. Wow. It's all AI stuff, but still pushing that out there. It's not getting many views, but still. We'll have to, I'm not subscribed. I'll have to subscribe so I can keep it in my thing. And we will do a reaction on one of them videos once, or or a live stream, whatever. Definitely. That's crazy stuff. It's crazy. Anyway. Nice. So let's get the next torture video up so I can react to that. A bit more wincing than that again. And we'll see how it goes. Right, so this one is the horrible death of Henry VIII.
Unbearable pain.
Oh, nice. Starts off with a deformed body, unbearable pain. Lovely. But here we go. I was good. It did it in that order. Because that other one spoke about Henry VIII at the end. So it kind of tails off and follows on. Nice.
An odor so nauseating, it made courtiers faint.
Oh, he must have been rotten. If the smell was that bad, there must have been some. I mean, because I've seen people, right, who have been bad on drugs, injecting their legs and that, and they start getting an abscess, and then that bursts and it turns into an infected abscess, and then the whole leg starts to end up rotting, and then they end up with maggots and stuff there while they're still living and walking about and sleeping, and their legs end up stinking because it's a big infection in there. and they don't want to go to hospital. Just think, oh, I'm going to lose my leg. Well, don't let it get that far, and you won't. Anyway, I'm kind of like getting off topic, getting off the script there.
After his death, cadaveric fluids leaked from his coffin and were lapped up by stray dogs. This was the horrible end of one of history's most feared monarchs. Today, we reveal the true story of the death of Henry VIII of England, a tale so grotesque that it is rarely told in all its repugnant reality. Henry Tudor was born on June 28, 1491. When he ascended to the throne at 17, he was considered Europe's most handsome prince. Tall, athletic, with golden red hair and majestic bearing. A Venetian ambassador wrote that
okay, I've never had that, but okay, I'll go with it for now.
He possessed an extraordinary figure and angelic countenance, superior in beauty to any other Christian prince. How then did this exemplar of virility and power end up suffering such a degrading death? The turning point was an accident that occurred in January 1536 during a jousting tournament in Greenwich. At 44 years of age,
Don't say he lost at jousting, somebody stabbed him up, got infected up, like I was just saying, because they'd open up with him stinking, you know what I mean, doiking, and boy's rotten.
Henry suffered a terrible fall when his horse collapsed on him. The king remained unconscious for 2 hours, and although he survived, the injury to his right leg.
No, I've only ever been conscious because of drugs put me unconscious, like dentists or whatever. Never been knocked out any other way. So I don't know what it's like, but to be knocked out 2 hours, wow. Must have been a dig and a half, the old horse. Not funny though.
Leg would never completely heal. This wound transformed into an open ulcer that constantly suppurated.
There you go, I said that, didn't
exhaling
I?
a fetid
That was a good guess, PJ. That was a good guess. Open ulcer, an abscess. Wow.
odor that announced his presence even before he entered a room. It was a devastating humiliation.
Eats away at your leg and it stinks, it rots.
For such a vain king. Courtiers were obliged to endure the smell without showing revulsion, under penalty of facing royal wrath. The accident also marked the beginning of a transformation in his behavior. Coincidentally or not, it occurred during the same period when Henry ordered the execution of his second wife, Anne Boleyn, under fabricated accusations of adultery and treason. Some historians suggest that the brain injury resulting from the fall may have exacerbated existing.
Reminds me a little of the Mona Lisa. But dying like that, being beheaded, is better than being bloody boiled from the last video, that's for sure. Wow. Stop saying wow, PJ. Said it loads.
Tendencies
I'm going to take the stop off. It's a little warm. Let me just keep playing it for you guys.
toward paranoia and fits of rage. With reduced mobility, the king began to gain weight rapidly. His waist, which measured 89 centimeters in his youth, expanded to more than 130 centimeters.
Wow.
His weight exceeded 180 kilograms, making him so obese that he needed to be moved between royal apartments using a specially designed.
I know how he feels. I'm not that big, but I know how it is for the waist to grow, and I never used to. Used to stay the same size all the time and get a little beefier. Waist was always nice and tight, but not now. Belly and everything. Need to get rid of it. Not as bad as King Henry VIII yet, though. Not yet. No, I'll never get that bad. Never let it.
Pulley system. The door frames in the palaces had to be widened to allow his passage. The royal diet contributed enormously to his decline.
I mean, that's nothing compared to nowadays, where people are having to get the windows taken out, and then the bricks and all that taken out to get for the loved one to get lifted out by a crane to go to the hospital. Now that's crazy. That is nuts. How do you let yourself get to that point where you can't even get up to go to pee? And if you did, you break the toilet. It's crazy nuts. I don't understand how it happens. Really don't.
Records show that Henry consumed approximately 5,000 calories daily, mainly from red meats, with very little vegetables. A typical dinner included multiple types of meat pies and impressive quantities of wine and beer. This regimen, combined with forced inactivity, dramatically accelerated his physical deterioration. The ulcers on his legs worsened over time. Physicians applied treatments that we now know were harmful: cauterization with hot iron, application of mixtures containing...
Wow, he's like Humpty Dumpty now, isn't he? Oh, that's who Humpty Dumpty is. We found out. That's it. We've sussed it. Oh, joking.
Arsenic and mercury, and regular bloodletting that only weakened him further.
See, they say, but they used to do that all over the place, bloodletting. That's what the barber pole is for. When you see the red and blue thing spinning, that's what it used to mean, that they bloodlet as well as doing your hair and stuff. Don't know why people did that. They say it cured stuff, let out some stuff, it cures stuff. Get rid of the dirty blood. Then it won't, and then it'll sort you out. But no, I don't think so. Not that way.
The wounds became so severe that bones were visible through the decomposing flesh.
No.
The smell was so nauseating that his presence could be detected 3 rooms away.
Can you imagine that, though? A king as well, and he stinks, he's rotten. You don't even hear him. I mean, bad breath's bad enough, but rotten, being rotten from the inside out, or the outside in. No thanks. Yuck. Puke. Pukey.
At 49, Henry married Catherine Howard, a young woman of only 19. He described this marriage as a return to youth. However, the age difference combined with his physical condition made the union a grotesque spectacle. Catherine, unable to bear her deformed and malodorous husband, sought comfort in the arms of a young courtier. When the affair was discovered,
signs of that wee piglet, he's just gnashed the leg off his body and started munching it, sticking the hell lot in his mouth like an animal.
the king ordered the execution of both. His last marriage, to Catherine Parr in 1543, was more a political arrangement than a romantic one. Catherine assumed more the role of a nurse than a wife, caring for the dying king with surprising dedication, considering the fate of her predecessors. In his final years, Henry suffered from multiple medical conditions. Modern experts believe he likely suffered from diabetes, severe gout, hypertension, and heart failure. Some suggest syphilis, although this diagnosis is disputed by many current historians. This combination of diseases transformed his last years into continuous torment. Accounts from the period describe how the king alternated between periods of unbearable pain, during which he screamed and cursed everyone around him, and moments of deep melancholy.
I fell asleep now, but I won't be able to edit that out because it's longer than 39 minutes. You'll probably see that in the recorded. Never mind. Everyone's up for a laugh. I'm up for a laugh. I don't care. Brilliant, brilliant. I've been up all night doing live streams, so as soon as I've got this recorded, then I'll get it uploaded and set it up for a premiere. Then I'm going to sleep for hours and hours.
When he remained motionless for hours, Henry's paranoia intensified, along with his physical suffering.
Because I was talking about the bloodletting, wasn't I? But the barbers not did. They still got the poles, but obviously they don't bloodlet.
The once brilliant statesman became obsessed with imaginary conspiracies, executing close friends and loyal advisors on unfounded suspicions. Terror dominated the court, as an imprudent comment or a misinterpreted look could result in an accusation of treason. Notably, he ordered the execution of Henry Howard, Earl of Surrey, just 9 days before his own death. His fear of poisoning became an obsession. He implemented an elaborate food security system, requiring servants to taste
Oh
each
my
dish
goodness.
before it
Well,
reached his table. All utensils were meticulously
see what I mean? See how bad they are? See how arrogant they are? Oh, we'll get the guests to eat fast. If they die, then I can't eat that. Crazy. Just disrespectful, no regard for other people at all.
inspected. This fixation may have been a symptom of his increasing mental instability or the result of recurring minor strokes. As the end approached, Henry's suffering reached almost unimaginable levels. In his final months, he could barely move, even with help. Gangrene had set in his legs, intensifying the
Oh, if he stayed alive, they would have been taken off. Whoa, nasty. Not nice.
already unbearable odor. The royal court became a place of miasma and whispers, with courtiers covering their noses with perfume-soaked handkerchiefs while forcing themselves to remain in the royal presence. During his last winter, in 1546–47, the king's health deteriorated rapidly. He suffered from recurrent fevers, probably due to septicemia from the numerous infections in his body. His breathing became increasingly difficult, and episodes of delirium became frequent. Witnesses reported that, during these moments, the king often murmured the names of his deceased wives, particularly Jane Seymour, who died after giving birth to his only legitimate son, and possibly Anne Boleyn, whose ghost, they said, tormented him. Curiously, despite his obviously terminal condition, no one at court dared suggest that the king was dying. English law considered it treason to predict the monarch's death, so physicians and courtiers maintained the facade that his recovery was possible, even when the smell of decomposition was already emanating from his still living body.
Still living body.
On January 27th, 1547,
Gout.
realizing that his end was near,
And that's still common nowadays. People get gout just by drinking alcohol. Wow, horrible stuff. Horrible stuff that can happen. Failure in heart, diabetes, hypertension, gout. Nastiness.
Henry finally allowed Archbishop Thomas Cranmer to be called to his bedside. Unable to speak, he squeezed Cranmer's hand when asked if he died in the Christian faith. This was his last conscious.
Yes, but if it was Catholic, then it wouldn't have mattered. Because we're followers of the way, not under religion. Religion's man-made, and that's what Catholicism is. Followed on from Roman paganism.
Gesture. In the early hours of January 28th, at 55 years of age, the once powerful king exhaled his last breath.
Not good.
But the indignity of his condition did not end with death. Due to his enormous size, a special coffin had to be constructed to contain his remains. Preparing the body for the funeral was a horrifying challenge for the royal embalmers. The embalming process at the time was rudimentary, primarily involving the removal of viscera and filling the cavities with aromatic herbs. During the following days, while the body awaited the state funeral, one of the most macabre episodes associated with Henry's death occurred. The coffin, inadequately sealed to contain the gases and fluids of decomposition, began to leak while it rested in the chapel of Sion Abbey. During the night, contemporary accounts describe a disturbing scene. Cadaveric fluid trickled onto the chapel floor, where it was discovered by stray dogs that licked up the putrid substance. This story, recorded by chroniclers of the time, represents a profoundly humiliating end for a king who had built his image around power, majesty, and divine authority. The mighty Henry, who had defied the Pope, redefined English religion, and sent 2 wives to the scaffold, ended as a mass of putrefied flesh, his body violated by street animals. The funeral finally took place on February 16, 1547, almost 3 weeks after his death. Despite the unbearable smell emanating from the coffin. The ceremonies were conducted with all the pomp expected for such a powerful monarch. He was buried in St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, alongside Jane Seymour, the only wife who had given him the much-desired male heir, Edward VI. Ironically, Edward, whose existence had motivated many of Henry's controversial decisions, including the break with Rome, reigned for only 6 years before dying of illness
Not much
at
of a
15.
reaction this one.
The throne then passed.
That's all good. That's all good. The reacted to the first one well. At least it's something to watch, yeah. Sorry about that, lads. And the lad says,
to Mary I, daughter of Catherine of Aragon, who attempted to reverse her father's Protestant reforms, and finally to Elizabeth III.
It's either or, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're just a branch of each other. They just disagreed with a few things. Same but different. Contradiction, no.
First, daughter of Anne Boleyn,
Still religion.
who would establish a golden age in English history. The grotesque death of Henry VIII serves as a powerful reminder of the limits of human power. The king, who considered himself above the law, capable of redefining the national religion and disposing of human lives at his whim, was, in the end, a victim of his own mortal body. His death was not just the end of a man, but the symbol of the decline of an era. English historian Alison Weir wrote, "It is one of the great paradoxes of history."
Oh yeah, that's my middle older sister's married name.
That a man who began with so much promise,
June
beauty,
Weir,
and ability ended as a grotesque caricature of himself, tormented by physical pain and mental instability.
At least they got him screaming this time.
Feared and flattered by those around him, but rarely truly loved. The transformation of Henry VIII from ideal Renaissance prince to obese and sick tyrant remains one of the most fascinating case studies of how absolute power, combined with chronic pain and
And oh, look at the size of his coffin. Yeah, they had to design a coffin to take his size because he'd ballooned up so much. But you know, he was known for like there's a Mandela with Henry VIII as well with his portrait, isn't there? Where he's holding a chicken leg, you know what I mean? About to munch something like a chicken leg. I think it's a chicken leg, a drumstick. You know what I mean? One of them. And now you never see it. Now you never see that. It's something else in his hand. I can't remember what it was, but there's something else in his hand. So that's Mandela. Let me actually just find that. 2 seconds. 2 seconds, guys. Yeah, that one. There. Cool. Let me just get images up. It's this one. This one right here. Let's show you. Right, so it's that one right there. Which this was always a bloody drumstick that I remember, some food. But now it looks like a croissant, but it's not. It's like a rolled up cloth or something. I don't know what it is. It's like a cloth. Yeah, no, you can't do anything with it. This one. See, that's the dagger there, and that bit of cloth there. It was meant to be something that he ate. Drumstick, chicken drumstick. But there you go. See? All right. That's cool. That's cool. Fair play to them. All right, and some of the babies there. Lovely baby. So yeah, that was it. That was it. So yes, that was the picture. Sorry for that. Getting way late. All right. Let's carry on.
disease can transform an individual.
Size of the coffin, though.
His political legacy, the separation of England from Rome, and the establishment of the Anglican Church.
Well, the separation of England from Rome. Really? Really? What separation? What separation? Plenty of Catholics in England. Roman Catholics. What separation? That was just a ruse.
Continues to shape the modern world, but his personal end serves as a reminder of human fragility. The last moments of Henry's life, with his labored breathing and deformed body, contrast dramatically with the
as soon as he dies, you get skinny. Oh well. Couldn't have done that before you died, Henry. Couldn't you get skinny before you died so you could enjoy it? Now you're dead, dude. You're skinny. You're not going to get to enjoy it. You did it at the wrong time, dude. I know I'm an update. I know.
official portraits that show him in
Live streaming last night, and conspiracy cuts. Culture cuts is called now, isn't he? Come into my chat. I was like, oh no, here we go. I seen him, and Roger noticed my face. There's a face of disgust. And I seen him, I was like, I'm not going to ban him, I'll just let him in. I said, look, don't be coming here to cause trouble, man. You know what I mean? If you do, you're gone. I was letting him know. I just wanted to see what he'd say and stuff and why he's here. And he said, no, I'm here to listen. I'm like, yeah, okay. Right. But be warned, sort of thing. About 5 minutes later, Vicky was in bed, but she's seen comments from him. She's like, what's up, me? She says, what's he doing now? I said, leave him. I just want to see what's going on in a minute. She didn't listen to me. She was straight in there. And that was him gone instantly. Oh, she's a sniper, I'm telling you. I love her though.
All his royal majesty. This dissonance between public image and private reality is one of the great lessons of his life and death.
The cognitive type
ended the existence of one of history's most notorious monarchs, not with glory, but with an unbearable stench and an end unworthy of his crown. The man who transformed England and permanently altered the course of Western history ended up, like all of us, a victim of the inevitable deterioration of the flesh. The death of Henry VIII was not just a historical event, but also a symbolic moment that reflects on the ephemeral nature of power. In his final years, as the king's body deteriorated, so too did the myth of royal invulnerability. The monarchy, a divine institution that considered itself above the laws of nature, was forced to recognize its own mortality. The final irony in Henry VIII's life is that the man who strove so hard to ensure a male lineage, to the point of breaking with Rome and executing 2 wives, engendered a fragile son who would die young.
I mean, even like, look, come on, you fall out of love with your wife. You don't bloody execute them. Come on. Why would you do that? If you executed your wife, you never loved her in the first place. And then you execute the next one. There's no way you loved her in the first place. Can't you go through life executing wives? That's nuts. That's crazy shit.
His true legacy would come through his daughters, particularly Elizabeth I, daughter of the woman he executed under false accusations. Perhaps the deepest lesson in the death of Henry VIII is that not even absolute power can conquer the limitations of the human body. The man who rewrote the laws of his nation to satisfy his desires could not rewrite the laws of nature. In the end, even the most powerful of kings faces the same fate as the humblest of subjects.
That's not queen. That's a king. But he looks like it anyway. Story, Lord.
The death of Henry VIII is not just a story of medical horror, but a moral tale about the limits of human power and the inevitability of physical deterioration. His body, which was once admired as the embodiment of royalty, became
once admired. Not for long. Nobody got to that obesity, as you say. But yeah, like I say, nowadays people are getting taken out of their houses in cranes to go to a hospital disappointment. It's crazy nuts, man.
Symbol of the transience of all earthly glory. This narrative reminds us that, in the end, we are all equal before death, regardless of
Yep.
our achievements or social
And
positions.
then judgment.
The terrible death of Henry VIII continues to fascinate and horrify precisely because it reveals the vulnerable humanity behind the facade of absolute power.
Oh, it's done. Sorry, I was waiting for it to say something. It's done. Oh well, good. Excellent. Sorry about I was like drifting off a little bit there because not long finished the live and was on all night. So I got to go because I've got to wake Vicky up in 25 minutes. She wants to get on and get things sorted. I need to get a bit of a sleep. But there we go. I reacted to the first one all right, but the second one I kind of kept out a little bit. But I ain't done a video for a little while, so it's something to look at. Sorry for me kind of falling there. I didn't fall asleep, but I started drifting, you know. Like I was I'm reacting to this. It's not gonna be my best video, is it? One of them. Love you guys. I'm gonna go anyway. But I thought I would say it anyway. Still good information. However, you know what I mean? It's still good information to have whatever the situation. So all good. Love you guys. And I hope you enjoy this premiere when it comes out. I'm gonna go and get some splashes to the face with cold water from Ricky and then go to sleep. Still bless you guys, love yous, and I will see you on the next live, which will be tonight, which you won't really, by the time you see this, then it'll be maybe a few hours, I don't know. Bless you guys and love yous. Here the sunset's free, it's free. Nobody's about. Indeed, ta-da. Love yous.